Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Skyhawk Sports Talk. Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Another week in the books in UT Martin Athletics, and we take a look first here. This week in Skyhawk Athletics, golf there at the Grover Page Classic today and tomorrow in Jackson, Tennessee at the Jackson Country Club. Have a little bit of weather delays going on right now, but should be able to get the tournament in and played. Hopefully get to talk to Coach Swafford next week about how the Skyhawks played in the Grover Page Classic.
And, with all the rain, I think it helps a golfer sometimes when they have the ability to control.
It's softer, right? Greens being softer, so that'll be a big thing, and we'll talk to Coach Swafford hopefully next week about that. Rodeo, we'll have head coach Chase Thrasher on with us as our first guest on the show. Talk about this season upcoming as the Skyhawks will open up at Missouri Valley College in Marshall, Missouri. That one's going to be Thursday through Saturday, so make sure to check out on UTM Sports for all the results there. Soccer, they will have the OVC opener on the road at SIUB on Sunday. No Thursday match this week as the Skyhawks get ready for conference. That one will be at 3 p.m. on ESPN+. And then football, they'll have Missouri State at 6 p.m. Saturday on ESPN+, and also on the Skyhawk Sports Network at 5:30. Going to be community night, too. We've got 5 guests all lined up for this show today. Chris, this one is going to be good. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
This one's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Could be our best one yet.
And a variety of topics.
A variety of topics, variety of guests. It's going to be one that you don't want to miss. When we come back, Chase Thrasher from the UT Martin Rodeo team will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And welcome back to Skyhawk Sports Talk. Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Our first guest of the episode joins us now, Chase Thrasher, head coach of the UT Martin Rodeo team. Rodeo opening up the season at Missouri Valley College in Marshall, Missouri this week. Chase, how are we doing?
Good. Doing really good. We've been full swing in practice. Got all my freshmen and my newcomers on. They're here, and it's been fun. It's been exciting.
So tell us about the team for this year and what went into building this group together.
So we've added a lot of young guys, a lot of young girls. Got a couple recruits come in. I got one in particular. He's already been in the college finals once, won the region in the Kefir Open. He did 2 years at a community college, took a year off last year, and we was lucky enough to talk him back into coming. And then I've got several really young kids that are freshmen this year that I expect to come in and do big things right off the bat, and a few that, it'll take a little growing pains, but I think it'll be huge. I think this year will be really good.
Your sport's a little different. When a newcomer or a freshman comes in, what are the first things you show them, or when a recruit comes in?
The main thing is just to try, because most of them's been out and rodeoed before, whether it be junior rodeos or open rodeos, and just to let them realize that it's not different. It's the same thing. You go compete. You go take care of yourself. There's only so much you can control. That's probably the hardest thing about rodeos. There's so many variables. Dealing with livestock, obviously, everybody's got a mind of their own. And just letting them get in a groove of realizing they can't control everything.
Yeah, that's interesting because you have more variables in your sport than any sport.
Yeah, I feel like
But your message is it's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
You can't control what you can't control.
And I got that from Coach Luthi. His big deal was you can only can control what you do. You can't control the weather. You can't control what the animal you've drawn up on does. So you can only prepare yourself to control and react to what is consistent, and then everything else has to be a reaction and hope for the best.
And that's the way you prepared for this interview?
Pretty much.
We can't control David.
No, you cannot. I am unfiltered. I will ask anything at all. So you mentioned practice. What does practice look like for a rodeo team? Because I know that we all have seen the UT Martin Rodeo take place. Is that how it is every practice, or what's the routine normally
to an
on
extent,
a daily practice?
We're pretty well full contact at least 2 to 3 days a week. Mondays we kind of have what we call a fundamental day. We'll rope the sleds instead of live cattle and whatnot. But for the most part, it's full contact every day. And we're at the rodeo, an athlete will run one animal a night. And during practice, they're liable to run 6 or 8, and it's just wide open. And it's a blur. We usually start in the mornings about 7:30, and I'll have a group of girls come rope. And then we'll take a break until that evening, and then it's pretty much the whole team's out there. We got 2 arenas going at once, and it's wide open.
Do you record a lot? Do you film so they can watch?
So we do some. Most of the time, like at the rodeos, they'll have their friends or whatever record, and we'll go back over it if we need to. But as far as at practice, if they want to, they'll have somebody record them, but I don't rely on it a whole lot because if something bad happens, I don't want them to keep watching that video
Right.
or reminding them. I want it to be pretty short-term memory.
Yeah.
Right, of course. So talk about, I guess, we come into this year, how you've built the team, but also the improvements in the offseason that you guys feel that you've made as you approach here in this season.
Oh, well, obviously we've tried to improve on the team. We've done a lot out there at the equine facility. This year we've redone all of our turnouts for our horses. The student athletes, of course, they bring their own horses in and have that responsibility on them. And we just upgraded all their turnouts so that when they turn them out of the stalls during the day or at night, that they're in nicer facilities. It's all pipe now instead of woven wire, which any horse person will tell you wire is probably your worst enemy. If you can keep away from it, if you got board fences or pipe, it's always a lot better.
So now entering this third season, what's one thing that you wish you would have learned right when you started in that first season?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. I still feel like I'm figuring a lot out. Main thing is, communicating with everybody, keeping everybody on the same page. Just more or less, probably should have, looking back, would ask more, not assume this is going through an athlete's head, just, kind of communicate better and work at that. And I feel like that's with everything. Just work at communicating.
We've talked so much about in other sports the mentality. What year did you graduate?
21.
Okay.
I graduated.
Yeah, so not long ago,
Yeah.
but the mentality has changed with young people. Have you even seen that since?
So
you were
I
a freshman?
have,
Yeah.
which in the rodeo world, like they're really, everything's individual when you compete for the most part, but you still have your cliques, your groups, and your teams or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And since probably my first year, I've noticed that the groups and the cliques have gotten a lot bigger. Instead of 5 or
Really?
6 little
Yeah.
cliques, you've got 2 or 3 bigger cliques. And I obviously, as a coach, ideally you want one. You want everybody on the same page. But when you got
So,
co-ed
but fewer,
sport,
bigger cliques are
yes,
better, right?
a lot
Okay.
better.
Yeah.
And it seems like everybody gets along better that way because there's nothing under the table. Everybody talks and.
So is it
kinda
that
stays on
way
the same
everywhere
page.
with every rodeo team, or is it just something?
I don't
that's,
know. I just noticed it with this group. Like they have, I think it's funny because they'll tell me, they'll be like, yeah, we had family dinner the other night. And I'll be like, well, who was it? Because used to, if they said they had family dinner, it'd be 6 or 8 of them. And I think it was Friday night, there was like 20-something of them out of the 40 or 38 in one room eating. So that's pretty cool. They cook steaks and whatnot.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool.
And they don't invite you?
No,
Yeah.
I don't get invited, which I was
What
out
in
of
the
town
world?
Friday night, but still.
Hey, they didn't even save you
gotta
anything?
let them have some personal
Oh,
time.
my gosh. That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got to keep that line.
I feel like you've got to, be
Yeah.
like, hey, guys,
Well,
I
listen.
like steak too.
Yeah,
I mean, come
especially
on now.
steaks.
We're at Zaxby's today. We'll feed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get your food.
Been waiting
Exactly.
since Friday night for something to eat. It's nice.
Well, we have got it right here. Before we let you go, goals for the season for this team. What you got?
I don't know, the same goals every year, get teams to the college finals, as many individuals as we can. And then like on the newcomers, just try and grow them as fast as we can to where in the future to get them there. Hopefully you get them there your first year, but that's like anything else, that's kind of high call. But just keep improving and try and ideally I'd like to get both teams to college finals in the near future.
Awesome. Well, this is head coach Chase Thrasher joining us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yep, thanks for having us.
And we'll take a break. When we come back, Izzy Patterson from the UT Martin soccer team will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk, Davis Gregory here, still with me, Chris Brinkley, and joining us now from the UT Martin soccer team is senior midfielder Izzy Patterson from St. Louis, Missouri, joining us. Izzy, how are we here on this Monday?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're thriving.
Yeah.
We're just thriving. Yet
yeah.
another Monday, great week in Skyhawk Athletics. We're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, you all get down to Memphis yesterday.
Yeah.
And the game gets called when you get down there. Ooh, they were just scared. They saw number 2 and they were like, no, we can't do this. We can't do this. This is too much. We can't face them.
Yeah, it was a huge bummer. We got there. We ordered our pregame meal at Jason's Deli. We were sitting there, and Coach Mike was like, bring it in.
Oh.
So the game's canceled. We were like, are you joking? But
didn't want to see us. That's what it was.
They were scared. I agree.
Yeah, no, they were too scared of us. Listen, number 7 team in the country, they didn't want it. Yeah. They didn't want it. That's just the end of the story. So Izzy, 3-time All-OVC honoree, mentioned from St. Louis, went to Incarnate Word Academy, and that's where you started your career with high school soccer. Talk to me a little bit about that high school experience.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I went to Incarnate Word is an all-girls high school. It was college prep school. No, it was awesome. I had the best time at my high school. It was really where I played club is where I got the most exposure. Things like ECNL showcases is where I got to be seen by all these college coaches. So high school was kind of just a plus to play with a bunch of my friends that also went to school with me. But where I played at club and ECNL is really where I got my exposure for soccer.
And talk about that recruiting process too. I mean, I know that it was about 4 years ago, but coming to UT Martin, what was that process like? The decision there?
Yeah, I think it was honestly kind of convenient because right when I had my visit here, the next week COVID shut everything down. So recruiting had stopped. Coaches, no one could go on visits. The contacts, like you couldn't see coaches in person or anything like that. So I kind of took it as like a sign that was like, okay, they had offered me, and I had a couple other offers, but they still wanted to see me play more. And I was like, well, with COVID, you're not going to be able to see me play again. And our old coach Phil, he kind of put like a time stamp on you kind of gotta say yes to this or no. So I kind of just took it as a sign. And I was like, okay, I think this is the place for me. So I committed here.
I want to ask you mentally where you were because, I mean, the world shut down for a while, and you had finally gotten to the point in your life where you wanted to be, and then everything shut down.
Yeah.
What was that like for you mentally?
I think it was really tough. I think that obviously UTM's a great like mid-major school, but I know that I had other showcases coming up that they had to cancel those too. So it was just a time where I was supposed to get seen by other coaches. I was talking to other schools, and it was just a huge bummer that it didn't go that way, but I think everything happens for a reason. So
I know Coach Varga coming in here. This is his second season, but I know you made All-OVC second team that first year and then first team that year, and then previous coach leaves. Was there anything that ever entered your mind of, okay, well, I know that there's film out of me now, and the transfer portal being a big thing. Why'd you decide to stay at UT Martin?
I think honestly the people had a big thing to do with it. One of my best friends, Maria, she was a fifth year. She took her fifth year at Kentucky, so she ended up leaving when coaching change kind of happened. But I had texted Parker, and I was like, are you going to stay? And she's like, I think I want to stick it out. And I was like, okay, I think I do too. I mean, I just knew kind of what we had here, and starting the recruiting process again, like that's a scary thing. It's a leap of faith, and I'm comfortable here. I love it here. I knew where I was on the soccer field, like here, things like that. So I was like, I think I'm just going to stick here.
You know, I want to thank you for staying here. And a lot of people in our community know Izzy on the soccer team, but I think you got the coolest name ever. What's the backstory with Izzy?
It's kind of funny because my parents had always called me Isabella. Like, that's my real name. And one day in kindergarten, I told my teacher, she had called me Isabella, and I was like, I'm not going to respond if you don't call me Izzy. Izzy's my new name. And when she told my parents that, they were like, are you serious? You did that? And I was like, yeah, I get so. It's a huge joke, but yeah, my new name was Izzy, so it just stuck.
Yeah, but it's unique. It's fun to say. Like, I mean, like, it was a good move on your part at such a young age.
Yeah. No, I think I knew that coming sports down the line, it would be good if it was just Izzy.
It works in the broadcaster's room, too.
It's great.
It's perfect.
If your name is kind of already a nickname, do you still have nicknames?
Oh, yeah. It's like a running joke with Jordan Riffle, one of our goalies, she comes up with nicknames for everyone. And me, for some reason, I have about like 8. There's like Ishmael, there's Glizzo, there's a
Glizzo.
Oh, There are so many nicknames I have, and I'm like, okay.
So you answered anything with a Z in it, basically.
Yeah, I
right?
guess. I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's me.
Jordan,
Yes.
we need answers. We need the full list.
It's insane,
We need a Word
honestly.
document on Chris and I's desk, and we need to know all the
there's
nicknames.
Like about 10, minimum 10. I'm like, guys, okay, is there a new one
Like,
every time?
That's another practice and another name.
Yeah.
That's how
Has
it goes.
anybody ever
something.
said, "Are you dizzy, Izzy?"
No.
Or is your drink fizzy, Izzy?
No.
No one uses it as a pun.
No one used that as a pun.
I'm honestly really sad for the people out there that know you that haven't done that.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
I don't know.
That's a failed opportunity.
Missed opportunity, that's what I was going to say.
Has your
Crazy.
hair been frizzy, Izzy?
Oh, yes. My hair has definitely been frizzy, Izzy, for sure. Yes.
So one thing that I've noticed here in the past, at least since I've started working here full time and then going through all the pictures after the games and making the galleries and stuff, and there are people who comment with like crossed fingers. Because I started to notice this, and I was like, what are they talking about? Like I saw Parker comment it, Mackie maybe, and I go in there and I look at it, I'm like, why does Izzy all the time has her fingers crossed? Is this a mental thing or?
I have no idea. Like, I have never caught myself in a game, like, thinking, like, it'll be, like, so weird. It'll be, like, my middle and ring finger across.
Show the
I'm
camera.
like,
That's kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know
like,
if anybody can do that.
I can barely do it, like, consciously. And in a game, I look back at pictures, and I'm like, this is so embarrassing. All my fingers are crossed. I have no idea why I do it.
I'm like, again, I looked through it, and
You're
again,
blushing.
It's so embarrassing because everyone's like, it's not a real soccer picture if your fingers aren't crossed. I'm like, I just wish I could get a normal, good action picture, but I can't.
You got to write on media day though. That
Yeah.
was the main thing.
Yeah.
But no, like I'm going through. I'm like, I feel like that would be weird. Like, does that
so
not?
Weird. I don't know. I don't know how it does it. It's like in the cross, it's a pass or something. My fingers are always like that.
But so to make you
So
feel better
awesome.
though, Michael Jordan always had his tongue out.
Really?
So this
Oh,
is
yeah,
your
yeah.
Michael. This
Oh,
is your
no,
Michael
this is
Jordan.
like, so
thing.
now you've got the coolest name on campus, and
now
you
you
have
have a
a
signature thing.
trademark signature
Oh,
look.
This
so
is
this is a good thing.
This
I'm
is an
hearing.
NIL opportunity. Isn't
Oh
it?
my. Okay,
On
maybe.
T-shirts, you could have the emoji and then like a number 2
Davis,
on the
I'm
hand.
so embarrassed of these fingers things already. I can't put that on a T-shirt.
That's money, Izzy,
No,
left
it's
on
so
the
bad.
table.
I can't.
Okay, we'll move past.
Money will
crossing
cure
fingers.
embarrassment.
This is true. This
So
is true.
bad.
It will pay for Zaxby's meals
We have
too.
to talk sports.
Yes. Okay, Coach Varga, second year for him. What are some things that you've noticed? Again, you've been around him for now 2 years. Really, just one of the funniest guys. Truly, when
Yes.
you get to know him, talk about your experience with him.
Yeah, I think coming in, obviously, new coaching staff, you never know what you're going to get. But I think he really made a lot of us fall back in love with the game. My sophomore year here was pretty tough. And so having them come in, I mean, they were exactly what we needed coming into our junior year. And yeah, he's very unintentionally funny. Like, he has these one-liners. He's very, I don't know, he's quieter, but he has those like punchlines sometimes where I'm like, oh, okay, that's funny. But no, he's great.
Yeah, I mean, I got a call yesterday from him talking about the cancellation of the game, and he's like, "Yeah, Davis, so Memphis canceled on us or whatever. So in the release, just say field conditions, weather, and they didn't want to play us."
Yeah, that's for sure.
And it was just it's just that short little one-liner
Yeah.
that always gets you. I mean, it's so great. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. So now again, fourth year. Best memories for you here? I know 2021, the championship and everything, but what are some other things that stick out to you?
Yeah, that's honestly probably one of the best soccer memories I've had is coming in freshman year and us winning the regular season. Obviously, we didn't win the tournament. We lost in the finals in double overtime, but no, that team, those fifth years, the leadership we had, like that was one of the best years I've had here for sure. Some other good memories is just like our away trips are always fun, traveling on the bus, that team bonding aspect. It's always fun to be around the girls. And I don't know, we have a great group of girls here, and I've said that every year. Something we have here is just special. It's not, yes, we all have our own friend groups, but it doesn't really feel like that when we go into the locker room because we're just all close. So I think that's something that's especially special here because it's not like that other places.
That's awesome. Advice to a freshman. I know that you all also have some people from overseas too, and I know that homesickness is probably a thing there too. I know St. Louis is only 3 hours away, but everybody gets it.
Totally.
What's your advice to them?
I'd say that just rely on your teammates. Like, we're here, we've all been through it, especially us upperclassmen. And I know I'm not from Denmark or Sweden. I'll never have to deal with being that far from home, but we always stress to come to us if you ever feel upset or you just need someone to talk to about anything like that. We always tell them to come see us. We're all supporting each other, and I just think as a freshman you come in and you just need to work as hard as you can every practice, every game. You never know when Coach Mike always says, like, you never know when your opportunity is going to come, and when it comes, like, you better be ready. So I think just put your head down and
Who was that person for you? Who helped you when you were a freshman?
I'd say probably who helped me the most was Maria Castaldo. I don't know. It was just like I had visited and stayed with her and Sophia my junior year of high school. So when I had visited UTM, I'd stayed with them, and ever since I'd met them, like, I was like, okay, these are going to be like some of my best friends. And coming in freshman year, they were juniors, so it was just, we just clicked, and they were like, unfortunately for me as a freshman, I got starting time right off the bat. So she was always on the field too, and she was like, all right, let's go. You got to work hard all the time. And she always had my back. A lot of the upperclassmen did, so it was good.
Now, OVC play about to start, non-conference play wrapped up, and now you get to some serious soccer coming up here, again, starting with SIUE next Sunday. And what's the mindset of you all as you approach this and want to get another championship here at UT Martin?
I think, honestly, just being a senior also, like, it means more. Like, there's a lot of last. There's a lot of, last time, like, going to SIUE, playing at home where a bunch of my family members and people can go. But, no, I think everyone just needs to be focused, and we will be. We're going to be ready. We're going to come out strong. I know our non-conference schedule, like, it was hard. He scheduled a hard non-conference schedule on purpose just to prepare us for OVC play. But, no, we're going to come out. Our head's going to be on straight, and we're just going to grind out results.
Love it.
One more question. So you're St. Louis. We're at Zaxby's in Martin, but if you go to St. Louis, what's a cool place to go eat or see that most people don't know about?
I would say just anywhere down in the Hill. It's kind of close to the Arch, but not really. But there's a bunch of great Italian places down there, and obviously like the St. Louis Zoo, City Museum, any good place like that.
How many times have you been up at the top of the Arch?
Honestly, never.
What?
Nope. Never.
Really?
Yeah. I think in my grade school,
unreal.
I think they did a field trip, and I don't know why. I either didn't go or I couldn't go. I don't know, but
Because you were Izzy.
Yeah,
they called me Isabella, so I didn't go.
yeah, exactly. I'm protesting this right now. We're not going.
Yeah.
We're not going. And then they got that, that ballpark.
Have you been to the
there.
top of the Arch?
No, I haven't.
Oh, come on.
No.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course.
Yeah,
right.
no.
Chris is the
I was
tourist
probably
of the
alive
group.
when
All
they
right.
built it.
No.
Oh, my goodness. Izzy, fantastic job here today. Thanks so much for joining us,
Thank you
and we'll
for
see you
having
out
me.
on the pitch.
Sounds good.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, Katie Cruz from the UT Martin Volleyball team will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And welcome back to Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here alongside Chris Brinkley. Now joining us from the UT Martin Volleyball team, Katie Cruz, the starting setter for the Skyhawks. Katie, thanks so much for joining us here on this Monday.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So this is awesome. Transfer from Appalachian State, and you come from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
Martin's a little bit smaller
It
than
is.
Boone and Charlotte. Talk to us a little bit about this transition to a small town.
Well, Charlotte was definitely big. Boone was a small town, but I feel like the people really makes it seem a lot bigger than it is. Like in Boone, there was like so many more things that you could do, but here I find there's actually more to do because like there's so many good people here.
Aw.
And yeah, like
We're
great.
honored.
No,
We're honored.
yes, for sure. But yeah, I honestly like really enjoy my life here, like small town. Charlotte is just where I go to be at home.
Fair. Are you a Panthers fan?
I'm not.
Okay, all right. I was going to apologize for their
So
for
I
their awful
I
start.
grew up in Georgia. So
Oh,
most
okay.
of my childhood was in Atlanta.
Okay,
So
so
I don't really have a team.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Just want to apologize for the start that they're off to if you were a Panthers fan.
No.
So transferring from Appalachian State, first year here, what went into that decision to come over here and play for Coach Wilson?
Yeah, so kind of a long story a little bit. So I committed to App State when I was really, really young, a freshman in high school. So a lot of things changed before that. I went into App State under a new head coach that I didn't commit to, and then unfortunately on my first day of my preseason, my freshman year, I broke my arm in half.
Oh, goodness.
So I had a redshirt that year. And then other things just, like, didn't fall in place for me, like family-wise, culture-wise at the school. So I made the decision to go into the transfer portal. And then UTM was one of my first visits, and I fell in love with it there. And then I used the rest of December and went on a bunch more visits, but I couldn't stop thinking about how I felt here. And I didn't even meet any of the girls on my visit, just Jacqueline and Julia. And I was just like, something about like UT Martin, it just fits me, and I felt safe here. And I'm so glad that I made that decision.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Yes.
Talk about, first, I guess, that duo of Jacqueline and Julia. They've been here together. I mean, Julia's been here longer than Jacqueline, right, Chris?
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Coach Wilson enters this 10th season, and they've been together for a long time. Talk about the chemistry and, I guess, their pitch to get you to come here.
Yeah. So it was actually really funny. When Julia came and got me from Nashville, I was like a little nervous because I was like, what if this is awkward? I've never met her before in person.
And then it's a 3-hour drive
yeah,
also,
right?
so you got to fill up time
I'm just
talking.
like, what are we supposed to talk about? But we could not stop talking the whole ride. We were like the same exact person. Everything was lining up, and I was just like, we were like best friends from the start of Nashville to Martin. And then, like, we went to dinner at Cabana, and we just, at first, like, they were just talking about me and my family, not even volleyball related, and that really stood out to me. Like, they care about us as people. And then, like, that shows their character, too, that they wanted to know us as people outside of volleyball. But them two together is amazing. Like, they care for us so much. You don't find that in many places, and so it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's obvious that it goes beyond the sport. You can tell with the camaraderie between you and your teammates and the coaching staff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And take me back now to high school, Providence High School. You went 91-16 there.
That team was amazing.
And just the teams that you were able to beat too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but back-to-back state appearances.
Yeah, Green Hope.
I mean, talk about your career in high school and I guess how that formed you as a volleyball player and going up against really good competition.
I want to go back. No, you committed as a freshman in high school, so you were pretty good in middle school, junior high, club team, whatever.
Yeah.
So when did you even first start playing?
So I started playing like 5th grade. My sister played volleyball too. She played at Marist for a few years, so I was just around volleyball kind of starting at a young age. And when I lived in Atlanta, I played at a really big club called A5, which is one of the best clubs in the country. So I had really big exposure at a really young age. So then we moved to Charlotte. I started playing like middle school and stuff like that. And then when the club started, I played up an age group. So I got that college exposure a little bit earlier than the kids in my grade. So when I was a freshman, I was with like the 16-year-olds getting recruited. So it kind of just sped up my process a little bit.
That's a big decision to make as a freshman. Now to his question about your high school career.
Yes. So my high school career was amazing. Like I think back to it a lot because I met some of my best friends on that team, and my coach was amazing, Maggie Malone. Like I still talk to her now, but that team just had a chemistry that is really, really hard to find. We found ways to win every game, and it was over COVID, too, when we made it to the state championships. And I swear everyone on our team had COVID during the state championship.
Well, it's been 3 years now, so it's off the books.
You can tell your grandkids that story.
Off the books.
No penalty allowed there to Providence High School. They're clean.
They're clean, but my coach couldn't come to the game because she had COVID.
So who coached?
So
y'all coached?
Yeah, we coached, and it was just all of us made like this decision that we were like, we're going to do this. Like, we got to keep this on the low. But it was really cool to have a team that was super locked in like that.
Well, were you actually not feeling well, or did you? Oh my goodness.
No, but it was like we had to win because honestly, beating Green Hope was like one of the best feelings in volleyball I've ever felt. Like, beating a team that's won for 4 years in a row that thought they were going to win again, we like taking them down. That felt like the state championship too. But then we went to the state championship and we got swept. Unfortunately.
But you made it. I mean, there are a lot of teams out there that again are good, but then get to that region and that district, and then they end up falling out. But y'all made it. I mean, you made it to state.
We made it. Yeah. And my coach did a really good job of instilling confidence in all of us. Like, she didn't really do too much. She trusted all of us. So when we went out there, we kind of just played together, and we weren't really worried about the outcome, and the outcome was usually what we wanted. Yeah.
And when you get here in campus in the spring, right? You got here in the spring. What's one thing that stood out to you whenever you met the team and finally got to see some of the girls?
Yeah, it was really cool. I was really nervous because I never met anyone before coming because obviously no one was here on my visit, but I just felt super accepted. I was really shy at first, so I don't think people fully got to know me honestly till this semester, but the girls here are just great. Like I keep saying, how is it possible that the funniest people in America got to the same part of Tennessee? Like we're all so funny, and the whole time that we're in each other's presence, we're always laughing, always having such a good time.
And it's always interested me that you were obviously highly touted and talented and a dominant player in your sport, but you come in and you're nervous.
Yeah.
And when we see, we didn't play Division I sports, we called it on the radio and TV. When we see the athletes at the highest level, the word nervous doesn't come to mind like you coming here to be nervous.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the normal, and we forget that athletes off the floor are nervous too.
Yeah. I would say coming from my experience from my old school, like some of that kind of came in, like the nerves of how that ended for me wasn't like the best playing wise. I feel like for me, like with my confidence. So coming in, I was a little bit nervous, but everything ended to be better than I thought. And yeah, there's no reason to be nervous now. And playing sand too, I'd never done that before, so that was definitely a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and beach volleyball, that leads me into the next question. What's the adjustment like when you go from playing indoor for so long and then, boom, it's right to beach season?
Yeah, definitely different. It definitely is super weird because my position isn't really allowed in the sand setting. Like you can't really overhand set. So I had to really lock in on my other positions like passing and hitting. And it's just a whole new game that I don't think people realize how different it is. Like how there's a whole different calls, like the rules are different. The plays are different. You have to call some with your fingers behind your back, and I would mess them up every single time. But it definitely helped me, my indoor game, get a lot better.
This may be a really dumb question, and I think I know the answer, but I might be wrong, so I ask it. Which is more fun?
Personally, indoor.
Okay.
I love indoor volleyball. Nothing will compare.
Okay.
But a lot of the girls say that like once they started playing beach more and more, they thought that was more fun.
Yeah.
So if I ever get there, I will change my answer, but not right now.
No, I mean sand outside.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But
it's also in like
sticky.
February too, because you go from two polar opposites.
Yeah.
You're gonna go from it raining and being like 45 degrees, and
Yeah.
you're in the sand, and then it's just I don't even want to.
We'll be out there and it's like sleeting rain. We have like 4 layers of clothes on. We're shivering.
Yeah.
And I'm just out there passing a volleyball. But
And wet sand is kind of gross.
Yeah. But I mean, by the end of the semester, we were all tan and we were like,
it was perfect. You got is it, the melanin? You got enough melanin in your system? I mean, you were perfect. No sunburn.
Exactly.
So whether it's fun or not kind of depends on the weather.
Yeah. Probably by the end, it was more fun because we were tan. Yeah.
And also if you're fair skinned or not. I mean, if you're me, I mean, you are not going to
That's the first time we've had the answer. It was more fun because we were tan on the podcast.
I would be the one to say that too.
So Chris and I, we're both communication majors in college. You are a communications major.
Yes.
What's your sequence?
Okay. So honestly, I just have that as my major because I really enjoyed public speaking at my last school, and I switched it because at the end of the day, I really just want to coach college. So it's kind of just what I'm gonna get and see what I could do with it. But I really want to coach college, and my mom also is really big into communications and sales. So I kind of was thinking in my head I would just go that same route and see what happens.
It'll help for coaching, definitely.
Yeah,
From a public speaking standpoint, did you make speeches? And if so, what was your coolest one?
My coolest speech was my farewell speech because it kind of lined up kind of weirdly. I had a farewell speech and I was also transferring schools.
Yeah.
So when I did my farewell speech, I did it as like a whole goodbye to the whole university, like to my friends and to everything. So that speech was really cool to write. It was my favorite class I've ever taken. I got an 100.
Yeah, I did not do well in public speaking.
Did you not?
That surprises me.
Why,
no,
Davis?
see, okay,
Why?
here's exactly what happened. The Braves were playing for the NL East Division title, and that night, the next day I had a midterm exam, and I got like a 70 on the midterm
You weren't ready.
exam. No, wasn't ready. I finished with a B.
That's
but
good.
I could have finished with an A.
What was
That's
I've
okay.
done a lot of public speaking. What was your method for practicing and getting ready?
This is really funny, actually. Before I wouldn't really prepare. Like I knew the topic and I feel like I can talk for a long time. So I would just kind of write down a little bit of notes and then I would just go talk. And then I would tell myself before I went up that everyone was here to watch me talk. And then I was fine. I was like, because if people are here to watch me, then there's nothing to be nervous about.
I love it. Love the mindset. Katie, thanks so much. First of all, for coming to UT Martin and then joining us here today. Good luck the rest of the season. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we will have Ashley Bynum on the show with us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk. And this year, Chris and I wanted to get a little bit more in-depth inside athletics, get more of the faculty and staff on, and we're doing it here right now. Ashley Bynum, Associate Athletic Director for Internal Operations, join us. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I've been looking for my big break, so I'm excited.
This is it right here and right now. So
when you were younger in Martin and playing softball, I mean, you grew up. Did you ever imagine you would be in this position?
No, never. I probably shouldn't say this, but when I went to college here, I don't think I attended many athletic events. And what I love so much about being part of the athletic department is getting to be a part of that voice in the community, telling people how awesome what we have going is and how awesome our athletes are and how much they deserve our support, because I think they deserve it, and I think the community could benefit from it if we got more involved.
I agree with you, because I did attend some events when I was in school here, but not as many as I should have, and I wish I could go back. And
exactly.
We recently inducted Leonard Williams into the Hall of Fame back on Saturday, and at the Westview High School cafeteria, we used to talk about him all the time, and I only saw him play once live, and I told him I regret that, because I was a high school student in Martin. I should have gone.
Been here.
I should have been there.
Yep.
So it's kind of neat that we're kind of in the same situation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
My first two questions to you. So first of all, I was like, okay, Associate Athletic Director for Internal Operations. What does Ashley do? But my first two questions for you are, one, who is Ocean State University? And number two, why do they keep breaking the rule? How have they not gotten, like, the death penalty yet?
Yeah, so they have a lot of trouble over there at Ocean State.
It's unbelievable.
We've got to heed their warning and make sure we don't make the same mistakes that they do. The example this morning was for corner kick.
Yes, corner kick.
So Mr. Corn, ineligible but able to travel based off the NCAA legislation. It's just a good way to get rules and examples out to the coaches without, specifically calling out one sport or another. But I can't take credit for the work and the creativity. I do get that from an external source, but they always make me chuckle, so I'm glad to know that other people are getting a kick out of it too.
I saw the one this morning, a corner kick. It was corn R.kick.
I've not seen that one.
That is very good. That was very clever.
Yeah.
So first off, your responsibilities, just kind of day-to-day life, what does that entail?
Yeah, so I think my responsibilities on a day-to-day are different every single day, but the bottom line is my job is to make sure that our coaches and our student athletes have all the resources that they need so that they can be successful. Obviously there's rules in place that we have to make sure that we follow, and that's a large part of my responsibilities as well. But, what I want the people that I work with to know is that, we're all on the same team and we're all looking for the same goal, which is to win a lot of games and give our student athletes a great experience while they're here.
100%.
You have a law degree, right?
That's right.
A law degree.
Yes.
How does that help you in this position?
Well, if you've ever had the fortune of reading the NCAA rules manual,
we could have, but we just
I've passed up on that. Great blessing.
Yeah, well, I've pitched a compliance corner on this show for a while, but it keeps getting shot down because of how boring the material is. But the regulations are written in a way that are fairly difficult to understand for some people, and so my law degree, my background, and the way that I learned how to read and interpret legislation, laws, statutes, and things like that in the legal field mirrors exactly, what I need to do with the NCAA manual to make sure that I can read it, understand it, and provide it in a way to our coaches that's easy to digest and easy to understand so that they can focus on coaching.
We even see this in what's the thing you have to sign if you download an app or something? What's the terms and conditions?
Yeah,
I mean, it's so complicated. Nobody really wants to read that.
That's right.
You chose to learn how to read that and for it to make sense to you. Why?
Well, so a lot of people ask me that question, like, why the law? Because knowledge is power. You know what I mean? To know how to get the best possible product that we can, we need to know what our limitations are. So my goal is not to tell coaches no or to tell student athletes no, we can't do that. It's a way to find ways to do it in a way that keeps us within the rules of the NCAA, but getting the best product that we possibly can.
Yeah.
Without knowing what the best product is, then you can't achieve that.
Yeah.
So I find it important to go the law route because the more I know, the better I can be.
Definitely. Bless you, because somebody needs to be able to do that. No, but it just sounds tedious and complicated and frustrating at times.
It is.
It is. So it is even for you.
Yeah, it is for sure, because, like I said, there is that disconnect between what coaches want and what we are allowed to do, and trying to find that middle ground, that common ground to where all parties can be happy can be very frustrating. I had a great mentor in Colonel Kaler, the compliance administrator before me.
Who was not a lawyer but had a military background.
That's right. He had a military background. So kind of the similar structure of, knowing the line and how to get to the line without crossing the line, you know. So I learned a lot about the attitude that I have to have and the behavior you have to have in this role from him, and how to handle yourself, how to talk to people, how to let them know that, like, we're all on the same team. And my role at the school is not to be a barrier for any reason.
It's to be a protector,
That's
actually,
right.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So prior to UT Martin, you were an associate attorney practicing civil and criminal law. Why make the change to go now to college athletics specifically?
Sure. Well, like Chris talked about when we first started, I grew up playing sports my whole life. I'm a huge Tennessee fan. I'm a huge sports fan in general. And I love school. Like, I've always loved school. I loved being in school. I love being around school. I love learning. And so when the opportunity was presented to me, it felt like a marriage of my three favorite things. The law, school, a school environment, an academic calendar, working in higher education, and then sports. And I'll be honest, I didn't even know what a compliance director in a college athletics program did until I came in for an initial interview for the position. And as soon as they laid it out for me what it was, I was like, this is what I was meant to do. Because I initially went to law school to help young people. And I did juvenile and criminal work when I was in private practice. And what I learned was it's very mentally and emotionally tasking to help young people in that way. And I just wasn't built for it. And it felt like a disservice to my clients and a disservice to myself to dedicate my career to something that I wasn't passionate about. And so finding this spot and this opportunity to help young people, to be involved with sports, to be in higher education, it just felt like the exact perfect fit for me. It's like where I was meant to be.
Yeah, no doubt. And back home.
And home.
Yeah,
and home.
So your favorite part about your job? We'll get into some fun questions here. What's your favorite part?
My favorite part of my job is just helping the student athletes. Like, honestly, with whatever it is that they need, it could be as small as, hey, I'm really having a hard time committing myself to studying. I need some help figuring out how to manage my time. Or, something really large like, hey, I had 2 really bad injuries in my college career. I want a 6th year to compete. I'm the one that gets to petition the NCAA and ask the NCAA to give that student another year. That can change someone's life. That could be the difference in, prospects for a professional career, or connections with somebody that could get them to their next step. And for these college kids, college athletics is the most important thing to them. So to be able to play, whether it's a very small or a very large role in their time at UTM, it means a lot to me because I know it means a lot to them. So the favorite part of my job is that interaction with the students whenever I can do that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a Miami. I think he's playing for Miami right now. Tight end football. You might have heard about. He's like in his 9th year of eligibility.
Yep.
But again, that can change his life in terms of if he has a good season. He could go on and play maybe Canadian football or play in the NFL and make money enough to support himself and his family as well. So just huge credit to you and all that you do. I mean, fantastic job.
Thank you.
Fantastic job. Thanks so much for joining us, too, here
I was
on
going
the
to ask one more
podcast.
question.
Yes, go ahead,
I
Chris.
do have a question
Fire
because
away.
your job is really interesting. And do you think you see the world more in black and white or in gray?
I think that I would prefer it to be black and white, but you have to respect the gray. And if you're going to be good at college athletics and my job specifically, you have to respect the gray and you have to be able to live in the gray area. But you can't understand the gray area without having a good understanding of black and white.
That's a really good answer.
So.
Yeah. No, that's a really good answer.
That's a hard one because I prefer black and white, but at the end of the day, the reality is we live in the gray area.
Yeah. Okay.
And, hey, listen, Chris and I, we're going to help you out. We're going to go back to work, and we're going to read the NCAA
Yes.
laws all throughout the
Is there an
rule book.
audio version?
Oh,
I might need your help
Let's
with that.
do that.
Yeah.
my fantasy
that.
football punishment is if whoever finishes last in my high school friends league, you have to give a presentation on like one of the most like boring YouTube videos ever. But I think I might change it. I might be like, guys, I'm passionate about the NCAA.
About compliance.
I'm going to have Ashley help me with this. And we're going to do a presentation on the
Perfect.
NCAA compliance. And then, some coach is like, oh, well, I'm going for this. And, like, you're out for the day. I'll lay the hammer down.
Yep,
No,
that's
no,
right.
it's not. Or I'll fight tooth and nail for this right now. I will go to war for you.
Yeah.
How many words is the book? What's the book look like?
I think right now we're sitting at 370 something pages.
Wow.
So they actually stopped doing printed copies
So
because
that's-
they're so large.
Yeah, that's probably
What size
that's quarter.
font are we talking about? And is it double spaced?
It's single space, but we're looking at a standard 12-point font.
That's actually
more than
worth-
100. No, that's 1 million words, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't counted, but I could see that.
Yeah, 9,000 words is an hour. I'm terrible at math, but it's a really, really long audio version.
That's
Yeah.
We're doing it though. We're
No.
doing it. We're gonna be
Yeah.
Chris. Come on, we gotta help Ashley out.
Yeah, I need the help.
Whenever she's gone for vacation, we have to be there.
I see this in black and white. I don't want any part of it. I'll
I'm gonna do it.
supervise it.
Perfect.
I'm gonna do it. Ashley,
Perfect.
thanks so much for joining us. Look forward to maybe having you on in the future too.
You anytime, call me anytime.
We'll talk more about Ocean State University too. We'll bring them up as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson, will join us here on the Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here. Final segment of Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Now joining us, head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson. UT Martin winning the home opener, down 18-0 in the first quarter, came back to win it 43-10 the rest of the way after going down 18-0. Get their first win of 2024. Coach, I know we joked a lot about me not being able to enter Casey's this past Monday. I think in that first quarter you aged me to be able to get to the point to where
He's 30 now.
I could go to Casey's now.
Hey, so when
you
we were
had me
down-
scared.
When we were down 18, I bet he was like, yeah, funny man, nice jokes, you're down 18. Is that what he was saying?
Yeah.
Chris was in the booth with me, so he
Davis is the
vouch.
most passionate and emotional play-by-play announcer I've ever been in a booth with.
I
mean,
I
promise.
appreciate that.
he lives and dies with each
I
play.
do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Hey, me too. I knew that's why I liked you for a certain reason. They all count, don't they? And
They do. Every single down. I mean, down
Yeah.
and distance matters. Third down and manageable. But
They do.
talking about the game, though, 43-10 the rest of the way after, they came out and, first off, that 2-point conversion, they wanted to establish some dominance early.
No, that's 2 years in a row. We were down 13 points last year at halftime, and then down obviously 18. So give their staff and their players credit. You win 3 conference championships in a row, right? You're a big game to the next opponent, and they were ready to go. And it's such a unforgiving game. We tell it to the players all the time about the scoreboard's unforgiving. It doesn't owe you anything. And we get our first third down, or maybe a second third down call, and we're in man coverage and bringing the pressure, and we're not in bad position. It was a bad ball. It was a bad throw by the quarterback. He kind of left it short, but that's we were in decent position, but the low and behind throw allowed the receiver to make the catch, and we weren't able to get the tackle. So boom, 75-yard play, and now you're down, and still feel good about where things are. We're good. All right, and then we had to punt it, I guess, and then we bust the coverage, and it's cover 3. We had eyes in the backfield at the corner spot, and they hit another one on us. And like you said, then the little fake PAT there, nice, missed it by 2 inches there. They kind of caught us napping a little bit, and it's 18-0. And a lot of the energy has changed. Now, to our kids' credit, as bad as we could play, very proud that the offense was able to put 10 points on the board. I guess it was in that first quarter, right? Mm-hmm. So now you reduce the deficit, right? And, kind of you're back in the game now, right? Because, 18-0, right, can get to 25-0 with one more score. And, that takes a very strong mental person to keep fighting through that, okay? So to cut it back down, settle some things down, and and then I thought this too, that the 2-minute drive, okay, to kind of get us 3 points there was a nice job by Kaya and a nice field goal by Van Winkle. I guess that cut it to 5, right, going into, to halftime, which, now the panic's gone. Okay, now let's just win the second half. We got a chance to win the game. So, there's a lot of things that need to be corrected, okay, but very proud of our resolve, very proud of taking advantage of home field advantage. And then finding a way. 4 turnovers on defense.
Yeah.
3 interceptions, sack on the quarterback. It knocked the ball loose and recovered. We scored on defense. Okay, got a safety on defense. So those are all good things. But in order to be a good defense, you not only have to do those things, right? You can't give up those 18 points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Okay. Proud of only giving up 3 points in the second half. All right. But the statistics and the score are over 4 quarters. Obviously, obvious statement. We turned it over twice on offense. Okay, some unfortunate 2 interceptions, and one of them will probably Kincaid will tell you he should just ran the ball in, and that was frustrating for him and frustrating for the offense. But once again, pretty good resolve by the offense and by the players to keep pushing through.
So Kincaid, you mentioned him, it had a rocky start to the day, but then you put Kaya in a little shot to the arm, like you said, in post game. Comes from Kentucky, goes 14 for 18 for 170 yards and a touchdown. What went through your mind in going with that decision to put Kaya into the game?
Well, one, let me go back to Kincaid, okay? I mean, his numbers, they look bad, okay? 4-17, 2 interceptions, okay? All right, but it was kind of a perfect storm for him. What I mean by that is he's got a chance to throw 2 touchdowns, and the protection was messed up, and the offensive line didn't hear a certain call, all right, and left the guy running free, and we got Tank on a what we call a big box fade, from an inside receiver, and Kincaid's, it was a great chance. You can see it on tape. It's about to be a touchdown, but he got hit right in that abdominal, when he let it go, and the ball came up a little short. So there was 2 that just unfortunate, okay, and then there were some others that I'm sure that he'll tell you that he can make and needs to make and will make, and then the turnovers, okay, the 2 turnovers got him. And then you put that with the way we started out on defense, okay, and it's 18-0, and I just felt at that time we needed a little shot in the arm, needed to change something up, and, Kai has practiced well, and he played well, and he gave us the opportunity to win, and, so it was good to see him get in there and do some good things.
And I know everybody at this level is really good, but, he really came in looking to be a leader and was he almost knew that was going to happen before the game started. He was well prepared for the moment.
No, he was, and I'll just kind of give you since he's been here, the spring was a learning curve for him. He had to get caught up. And Kincaid had already been with us for a year and was that much farther ahead of him. Kai's really worked on some things fundamentally, trying to improve his throwing, and he knew there were some things that he needed to work on with his setup and his lower half, and he's worked really hard on those things, and to stay positive, okay, when you're not the starter. Okay, when you come in, from an SEC school, and he knew the situation coming in here, it's hard. Okay, it's hard, and so he's done a nice job being there for Kincaid and staying called up. The reps aren't equal in practice. Okay, it's probably 70-30 at the maybe it may be sometimes like 80-20. Okay, so to stay called up and to be able to go and execute, I was real proud of that. I think probably the biggest play that I was proud of him for, I think it was it a 3rd and 5 or 4th and 5 when he hit Tank?
Yep.
Yeah, there at the end in the little option route. And, he doesn't get all those reps with Tank. Okay, he gets them with the second, slot receiver. So to make that work and to run some more clock and put another first down up there, that was big. That was encouraging.
And now as you look at this week in practice, how do you view that position going forward?
Well, I'm gonna meet with both of them today, and and I'll talk to you later in the week about it. But both of them have a lot of pride in themselves. Both of them are good players. I believe in both of them. And I don't take these situations very lightly. Okay, because quarterbacks all have, I mean, just like any player, but the quarterback position, there's ego involved in it, and rightfully so. So I'm going to handle this the right way, and I haven't visited with either one of them yet, and so I'll see them here after the show, and then we'll go forward and go through practice.
And both of your sons play quarterback. You've had a lot of quarterbacks at UTM. You play quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a
see, that kind of hurts my feelings
No. But you always tell me.
He's looking at me like, you look more like a tight end or a linebacker.
That's not what I meant.
A fullback.
I know that your sport.
That's something he would say.
Your sport was.
Yeah, no, it's Chris today. It's Chris today.
You've always told me I was a better baseball player.
No, I was.
You've always told me that.
I can't throw it like Ty Graham can.
Yeah.
But
this is a position that you know.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, when you think, quarterbacks have had the ball in their hands, especially college quarterbacks, since they were probably in the third grade. Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's only one quarterback that usually plays, and so there's a lot of pride, like I said, and some in their play. And no, it is. It can be a very fragile. You can ruin somebody if they're not ready. Mm-hmm. Okay, I remember Coach Saban telling Ty that a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
he said the worst thing that I can do is put you out there when you're not ready.
Yeah.
And, unless you're just a runner and going to be able to outrun everybody and make it right until you figure it out. But it's hard to play the position when you don't know where to go with the ball.
And since you've been here in 2006, we've had some really good quarterbacks.
No, we have. You go back to Kay Thompson and Derek Carr and Jared Neal had a great year, and of course Dresser, Keon. Mm-hmm. No, and we're going to continue to improve with that. We got to get our completion percentage up. We've got to do a better job with that. I thought the receivers, Tank and Ruck did some nice things. And you see, I called the game a little differently this week. We came out throwing the ball a little bit and, completed the first two passes. And, I was pleased with Zoe Roberts. Had a couple good catches there to get it going. So we got to continue doing more than that. Cheeks is doing a nice job running the ball. Just so pleased with our offensive line, especially those three inside guys with Josiah, and Vance and Drake. They're so experienced. Coach Bannon does a great job with them. North Alabama did a good job of the odd little stack that they were playing. They hadn't played a whole lot of it, maybe 20% of the previous games. Well, this game they played it 90% of the time. And, and so it breaks a lot of your rules. There's a nose tackle, there's a backer, and then there's another backer standing behind him. And, you don't know which way they're going to fit. So our kids did a nice job of kind of zoning their area and collecting things and putting a dent in it. And, it took us a while to kind of figure it out. Okay, everything on this call sheet was based on 4 down. And we only had a couple things ironed out or ready to go for that tower look, as you call it. And so I was proud of Coach Bannon and those inside kids. Those three inside, the three amigos, are all about the same size. But they're strong and they're smart. And those runs started, first down started turning out. We flipped the field a couple times, in which it makes it easier to throw the ball, obviously, when you do that. So pleased with that. I was pleased with Van Winkle. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think he's OVC Special Team Player of the Week, and he needed that. He needed a confidence boost. We need him to play well. I think he made a 46-yarder and a 35-yard field goal, so that was big. We talked about the momentum before the half, in the 2-minute, that was big, that field goal. And then it wasn't pretty, right? It didn't hit the upright. Yeah.
He was saying his prayers before the game.
Exactly. Then he had, I think, 3 punts inside the 20-yard line and 1 down at the 1-yard line. So that was big there. So I thought we played solid on special teams as well.
And that offensive line didn't give up a sack, and Cheeks Patrick Smith, his second straight 100-yard rushing game. Also, Rashad Raymond comes in, too, as a bit of a power back for the offense. I mean, going to that ground game, I know this offense is balanced, but starting there, I mean, they really enforced their will and started to move that ball on the ground. And Cheeks, whenever he gets in between the tackles, I mean, he is really good at getting past linebackers and getting to that next level.
He's got really good vision, and he's got good power, and he's a tough player. And I'm real proud for him, we talked about this last week. That's why he came here. He wanted to be at a place where, he could get 20 carries, and I guess that's 2 weeks in a row. He's been 20-plus, I guess 25-plus, right? So we got to get some other guys involved. Hopefully Narkel will be back this week, I hope, to give us a little bit different punch. I was proud of Glover Cook. Came in and had a couple carries. He almost came out of one and had a long touchdown run there. So, if you notice, we were playing Smithburger at the tight end spot the last 2 weeks.
I was looking for that on the card.
Yeah, we changed his number, so you didn't know, did you?
No, you threw a curveball.
Alex, way to keep it under wraps there. But he kind of, he's a big, strong. He's going to be hopefully grow and be a future offensive tackle. But right now he's playing tight end spot for us and creating some C gaps for us.
You talked about the turnovers. Tevin Shipp, he gets a pick six. Chris Hunter almost pick six.
Yeah.
Jamichael McGoy forced fumble. He gets a pick. And then Charles Perkins, the fumble recovery, and then the safety. I mean, that defense turned them over a lot on Saturday.
Well, they did, and I'm proud of that. I mean, when I talked to their coaches after the game and we kind of swapped notes, because I don't guess we play them next year. Do we play them next year, Alex? All right. But anyway, and they were like, didn't think we could block your defensive line. Okay, so that was. And that's a great thing for us. What a great compliment, in our recruiting and development of those players. I think we can play better up front, and we'll need to this week. But no, that's good. It starts with those guys up front, and it seems like Coach Butcher does a good job of those linebackers and those kids. I've seen Shipp make that interception multiple times in his career here, and if it wasn't him, it was John Ford and some of the other backers that we've had, and so do a nice job on that, and to score on defense, what a shot in the arm for us, and there was a couple, Cam and AJ being on kickoff team. Two guys have walked on this program, worked their tail off, and they're starting now on kickoff. Over my career, when guys join the team like that and they're so well respected and they're on special teams and they're able to make tackles, just what a boost it is on that sideline. There's certain energy that comes with it. Real proud of those kids for their contribution to the win.
Now, Missouri State on Saturday. This is going to be community night. We're going to have a little bit better weather.
Well, you know what? Speaking of weather, okay, I've been on the phone most of the morning trying to get a sponsor for our band, okay, trying to get us some whatever it needs to take to get them some ponchos and cover their instruments and stuff. But we need them there. I hate that for those kids with the weather. I don't know. I know it's not our athletic director, but for them not to be able to come. I know a lot of those kids, I'm sure they being at the football game, being a part of, because they are a part of it.
Yeah.
They're a part of that college pageantry. They're a part
of it. And they work there with their routine.
Yeah.
They practice. I don't know if they practice as much as you do, but they practice a lot.
And no doubt about it. And they're good at what they do, and it just makes a great college. That's what college football is about, right? You don't go to the pro games, right? And probably none of them have bands, at the NFL games, but they're part of the college atmosphere. And we have I'm proud of our band and singing that fight song with them at the end of the game. Maybe that's part of the reason we were down 18 points, right? We didn't have them there, and it was quiet in the stands and stuff. They're that big of, So anyway, still looking for a sponsor. Okay, if anybody wants to help our band with some ponchos and get them to the game,
get them over there. We'll get them decked out and everything.
Maybe that Gillette, whatever you're using to shave that heavy beard of yours, maybe somebody could throw a few dollars
Gillette,
in.
Yeah, Gillette Edge.
We could piggyback off of each other.
Yeah, we could put them on the poncho. They help us both out. There we go.
That heavy beard of yours. I love it.
Shaved this morning. There we go. I shaved this morning. Just get ready for it.
He does have gray hair because the 18-0.
Welcome to the club, man.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Welcome to the club. Look, he's looked the same since I've known him for 20 years. You have, man.
The same for every single year.
Hey, wasn't it really great to see Joe Gibbs in the Hall of Fame?
Amazing. Yeah, it was.
I had him come talk to the team at the pregame meal. Of course, Joe's a man of a few words, but he did a great job. Yeah. Last 2 years, Alex Atkins going in, and then Joe Gibbs going in. That makes me. There's a warm feeling in my heart to see those kids get to come back, and I hope one day Kevin Bannon, our current offensive line coach, he was very instrumental in a lot of wins here, and I think he's deserving as well.
And I love their stories when they come back and just talk about how being here changed their lives.
The Kevin Bannon had he told you that story about the mouse.
The mouse in the locker room.
And Joe just picked it up or stepped on it and just walked in. He looks like Paul Bunyan when he walks in a room. He's so big.
Yeah.
I told our players, because I remember when Joe was with a tight end, we signed him in high school. He's probably only 240 pounds. By the time he got to campus, he probably was 270.
Yeah.
And then he's a large man now. And I was telling our players, don't tell me there's not good food in the cafeteria. Joe's a living example. Look how he looks.
I don't know if you heard it, but when Leonard Williams went in later, he said that if we'd have had guys the size of Joe on our team, and Jerry Reese said the same thing, we would have won some games.
You know what? I got to see Leonard Leonard played at Jones Junior College.
Really? Okay.
Which is in Ellisville, Mississippi, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And I remember in high school going to some Jones games and seeing Leonard, and I remember thinking, he looks like Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's 5'9".
Yeah.
But man, he could spin the football. And I never got to see him play here at UT Martin, but when I took the job here, I remember Vicky talking about what a good quarterback he was. So what a great, award for him to get in the Hall of Fame and to be able to visit with him about Jones Junior College and him spending some time where I'm from.
That's pretty awesome, yeah. And everybody had told me if he was 6 feet tall, he would have been in the SEC.
He could spin the football.
Yeah.
So Missouri State this Saturday, community night, 1-2 on the season, but just got their first win against OVC school Lindenwood. We'll see them towards the end of the year. Ryan Beard, his second season after taking over for Coach Petrino. I mean, this is a big game, because they're a Missouri Valley school, and and again, we're unfiltered on this podcast, but Missouri, you know it as well as I do.
He's living on the edge, Chris.
Yeah, no, listen, I already told the public.
Watching him grow up.
I'm playing fantasy football. I'm suspended for Saturday. That's what's going to happen. He's going to be Hattler and Chris.
It's NFL, clearly.
Yeah, no, NFL, so we're good. We're good. But, you look at these wins and you know that the playoff committee, and if Missouri State later on down the road ends up beating a North Dakota State, ends up beating a South Dakota State, if they do that, that looks so much better than on our resume that we were able to beat them. So, a big game with lots of implications in it.
No doubt. All those things you said are true. I'm not really thinking about it like that this early in the year, but no, you're right. If you look back on it, you'll be like, boy, it was important that we played well that game. We need to keep improving. We'll be on we're on the road again next week at Kennesaw State, and before we get back into conference play. So right now I'm just concentrating on this football team improving, mentally and physically. And but you're right. They've declared to go to FBS. They've declared to go to FBS. Was it Conference USA? Mm-hmm. They've improved their team because of that. They've been able to get some other players. The players that they had last year, who we beat here, have improved. Watching them on tape yesterday and today, Montana. I'm not sure they're not better than Montana, and they let that game get away from them on the road. And it's so cool to watch the game. You see the fans. SEMO was great in that atmosphere, right? When we played them, do that time 4.
Wow.
You just as you're watching the clips, you see the student section up there rocking. It was a great atmosphere, and they had the lead in the fourth quarter and let it get away from them. Then they go play Division I team, a MAC team, Ball State. And in my opinion, Missouri State's got better players and had an opportunity.
So before we let you go, you talked about baseball that Chris had talked about that you had played at Southern Miss. And Rhino and I in the office one day, we looked up your stats.
Oh, nice.
You played here. You played at this ballpark
and lost.
And lost.
Every time I see Coach Page.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe he was the coach.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And Vernon Prather, maybe.
Coach Prather, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Coach Prather.
Yeah.
And I see him at Sammy sometime, him and his wife, and she's awesome, and I love visiting with him. We were on a road trip, okay? And I think we had played Ole Miss the night before coming through here. And we lost 4-3. And I played in the outfield that day. And there was that's when the pine trees were small.
Yeah.
Right? That's when the pine trees in the outfield were small. Yeah. And our head coach was so mad that we lost. I think we had to go to the football field, and he made us duck walk for several hundred
at Graham Stadium.
Graham Stadium.
What are the chances that the man who would for punishment would end up living your life over there?
Isn't that great? Yeah. Isn't that great?
I didn't know that story.
It sure did. We lost 4-3, and we made it to a regional, I think, that year. Yeah. And they were and on paper we were better. But sure did.
Did you pitch in that game?
No, I played in the outfield. I can't remember if I got a hit. Go look it up.
No, well, we looked up your – you were above 300. Coach was hitting bombs, Chris.
I thought he was a pitcher.
You had 15 home runs or something like – you were all conference? I was – my gosh.
I was a jack of all trades, master of none. But no, I enjoyed my baseball career, and college baseball is fun. I kid with all the ADs and Coach Kurt McGuffin that – there's been some different times we didn't have a baseball coach, right? And he's hiring one. I said, I'll come coach him for free. Yeah. I'll hang out over there in the spring.
Well, I think I've asked you this. Why did you not coach baseball? And you said it's too slow.
Well, there are two things. One, Yeah, it's. I started my career at Southern Miss after I got through playing as a GA in baseball. And, you know, you had to go out and work on the field every day. I mean, that's what the GAs did, right? There was no grounds crew, and you're out there and you're raking and watering. And I mean, up until probably a couple of years ago, and I think ours probably do now, raking and stuff. I remember thinking, I'm not a real yard work guy. All right. And the second thing, you know, it's pretty much the same schedule on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So really that, and then at that time, there's really only like one full-time coach. And everybody else was like volunteers or GAs. So there's no turnover.
Yeah.
No opportunities to get jobs. And then once I said, no, I really want to coach football. I enjoy that part of it. And then that was right.
I think if you would have chosen baseball, you would have been successful because of the strategy, the mentality you have as a competitor.
Well,
and
I would like to think so.
You knew the game.
Well, it's pretty neat. Coach DeBoer at Bama, you know, he was a baseball guy, and I think he played some minor league baseball as well. And so it's been kind of neat to talk that. I'll tell you a funny quick story. That you remember the screen that we ran at the end of the game down there on the rodeo end. There was a little screen. They threw a flag, but they picked it up because we caught it behind the line of scrimmage. We had the little motion and stuff.
Yes.
All right. I copied that or stole that from Bama. Okay, I went to one of their practices and I saw him running, and Ty told me all the details of it. And he told me, he said, now that's Coach DeBoer's screen. You know, he said apparently that's his baby. He's been running it for over 20 years because he coaches every little detail, you know, on it. Okay, so we put it in several weeks ago and we brought it back out this week. So we run the play. Well, the name of the play, right? Because you don't want to name every new play you put in the whole name of trouble left, Z orbit, blah blah blah. You know, it just gets too long. So sometimes you just name them one-word calls because you're only running it one way, to the left or to the right. Well, this one, because it was Coach DeBoer, was called Sioux Falls, right? He's from Sioux Falls, right? That's where he played and coached, right? So just Sioux Falls, all right? So I videoed it last night, okay, as we were watching and grading the tape, and I sent it to him. All right, and at the top of the screen it said Sioux Falls, the name of the play.
Yeah.
And I said, "Do you recognize this screen?" And I said, "Look what the name of it was." And he texted me right back and was like, "Let's go!" You know, that's awesome. You know, he said, "Hey, I got a couple of different variations. Let me know if you need it." So, pretty cool. I steal from my son's coaches, whoever it is, for the Skyhawks to get a first down.
And we'll coach. We thank you for doing football instead of baseball, and we're looking forward to Saturday.
The question is though, like, could you have played for me though? Could he have played second base or something? For me?
No.
Chris, come on.
Would I made him cry though? I'd be worried about that. And I don't listen to how I say it. Just what I say.
Listen to what you say. Listen to what you say, Coach. I pulled the tarp one day out at the opening day. We had to get the tarp out, and I pulled the tarp with Coach Jenkins. And
that's Chris.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
That is impressive.
Did you see that form? Did you see that picture?
I like that. I saw that the other day.
Look at the form there. The elbow. I mean,
I wasn't sure if it was one of Graham's.
Can you put that on camera, Alex?
No, we need to send that. I've got the picture. I'll send it to Mac. We're going to put it up there.
We'll put a graphic.
What did you think of quarterback Davis?
Well, I will give you credit. You know, now I suspect that's a junior high ball in your hand.
No, that is a high school ball. It's a high school ball.
Or you can't prove it, but I'll take your word on it. Okay, but no, I was impressed with that. And you know what? When my kids were little, they used to run around and throw the balls before the games too. So. That's why they love you. That's why my wife listens to you every week. My mom listens to this too.
She does.
And she was like, "That is an awesome deal that y'all have got the elementary school sending kids over here." Go to work with her dad day. So, Chris, thank you.
We started the show, and I thought, oh, well, Chris is getting picked on. I'm gonna survive this. Chris had to get him walk away. No, I got it in on Saturday. Chris is about to. Coach, thanks so much for your time. I'll talk to you Thursday.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And that'll do it for this episode of Skyhawk Sports Talk. Coach Simpson, I tell you what.
I mean, look,
he's been on fire.
No.
The past 2 weeks he's been on fire.
Coach football, coach baseball, or be a stand-up comedian.
I mean, he has gotten both down pat. I mean, he's killing it. Well, we want to thank all of our guests for coming on. What a great show that we had talking to Ashley Bynum from Inside Athletics, and then getting to talk to Katie Cruz, talk about her transfer to UT Martin. Izzy Patterson being here for 4 years. You saw really both ends of the spectrum with Katie transferring in, and then Izzy, and then Chase Thrasher with rodeo about to start up too, you can kind of get that rodeo fever building up, Chris.
Yeah, we're there. Follow the Skyhawks on social media. Go to utmsports.com. Hang out with us at Zaxby's every Monday.
It's going to be a great time. Make sure to join us next Monday, and make sure to tune in throughout the week and follow all your favorite Skyhawks on utmsports.com. And we sign off here from Zaxby's. Davis Gregory, Chris Brinkley saying God bless.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.